Alright, today we're talking about baseball in China, the country with more people than anywhere else, where baseball has been played for 150 years, where there's a new professional league, and like in so many other countries, baseball has been rapidly growing in both participation and viewership in the past 10 years. The history of baseball in China is almost as old as baseball itself. 1863 is the official starting year for baseball in China, when the Shanghai Baseball Club was founded, so baseball in China is actually older than baseball in Japan. The game slowly spread for the rest of the century. In 1895, a few universities in the country had organized baseball activities. The first official game was played in 1905 between one of these universities and a YMCA baseball club. 2 years later, the first intercollegiate game took place. The biggest name to take up the game during this time was Sun Yat-sen, who went on to become one of the greatest leaders in modern Chinese history. During his teen years, living in Hawaii, he had learned the game. In 1911, he started up a baseball club in Hunan province, though it was mostly used as a cover for his revolutionary activities. The early 20th century saw organized baseball spread to more and more universities. In 1915, baseball was included in the Far Eastern Championship Games held in Shanghai between China, Japan, and the Philippines. The Chinese team placed second in baseball, beating Japan but losing to the Philippines. Growth of the game slowed during the two world wars, though it continued to be played. After the war, the game started to take off. In 1959, teams from 30 regions came together to compete in a nationwide baseball tournament. This could have been the start of a nationwide baseball boom, propelling the game to the top of the country's sports preferences, as was seen elsewhere in East Asia. But soon after that, baseball was banned in China by Mao Zedong, who called baseball an evil Western influence. After Mao's death in 1976, the game quietly returned, but never again came close to the popularity it had seen in 1959. At the start of the 21st century, Major League Baseball, like every other major professional sports league in the world, began to take an interest in the Chinese market. In 2003, U.S. baseball officials signed an agreement with China to exchange coaches and to provide equipment for baseball in Chinese schools. In March of 2007, MLB opened an office in Beijing. A year later, the Dodgers and Padres played an exhibition game at Wuxong Baseball Stadium in Beijing in front of 12,000 fans. 3 months later, at the same venue, China and 7 other countries competed for the 2008 Summer Olympics. And since 2002, a professional baseball league, the China Baseball League, was in operation, with 6 teams competing. This all sounds good, but the MLB game, the Olympic baseball competition, and the CBL failed to generate the interest they were hoping for. The MLB game was premature. The locals had not had enough exposure to baseball to really appreciate what was being brought to them. Few people had played the game and could understand how it was played. Even fewer had seen MLB and could recognize the best names on the field. MLB never returned, and there was not any big demand from locals to have it back. Olympic baseball got lost in a sea of sporting events during the Beijing Games, garnering very little attention. Immediately after the 2008 Summer Games, a decision was reached to demolish Wuxong Baseball Stadium and build a shopping center in its place. The CBL suffered 2 canceled seasons in 2012 and 2013 due to financial troubles, and eventually folded completely. Since then, a different approach has been taken toward promoting baseball in China, with more of a long-term growth strategy in mind, and emphasizing youth participation that will eventually lead to viewership, rather than expecting to attract viewers right away. This is what worked for basketball. It wasn't until decades after it became a popular sport to play that a Chinese basketball player went on to become an international star, creating an explosion of popularity for basketball in China. That's what they're really hoping for, just one player to become a major league success that the whole country will get excited about. And that might happen sooner than you think. MLB runs 3 player development centers in the country. In the 2019 season, there were 7 Chinese players in minor league baseball, all of whom came from these development centers, which haven't been running for very long. 3 of those prospects belong to the Milwaukee Brewers. One of them, relief pitcher Lung Zhao, appeared in 6 games between Single-A Helena and the Arizona League. In 8 1/3 innings, he allowed only 1 run for an ERA of 1.08, 0.96 whip, and 6.5 strikeouts per 9. His fastball gets up to 155 kilometers per hour, 96 miles per hour. In addition to those minor league players, dozens more have graduated from the development centers and moved on to play college baseball in the US, China, Taiwan, and Korea. In August of 2019, Major League Baseball signed an agreement with the Chinese Baseball Association to relaunch the Chinese Baseball League. Now known as the China National Baseball League, 1 season has been played with 4 teams competing. With MLB's support, the league will be able to continue operating year after year. Even without Major League support, baseball has been growing in China like never before. It's played in nearly 100 universities, more than double the number from 10 years ago. New baseball facilities are going up all the time, and they're actually having a hard time keeping up with demand. The biggest of these is the $254 million 4-field baseball-softball complex just outside of Hangzhou. It will be the largest baseball arena in China, set to be complete by October 2021 and used for the baseball-softball competitions in the 2022 Asian Games. And unlike the Wuxong Baseball Stadium, this is not being built for one-time use. The plan is to use it for many more baseball and softball events in the future. Then there's the Chinese national baseball team, a regular in the WBC and presently ranked 22nd in the world, one of the highest among countries with no major league players. When they finally do start producing major league talent, the Chinese baseball team could become one of the best in the world, a status their national basketball and soccer teams have never been able to achieve. And that's all for this one. Until next time, this is Baseball International. See ya.